Hello, and welcome back to Russell Does Stuff. I work 6 hours on Monday, I work 6 hours on Tuesday, and if needed, I work on Wednesday. That gives me Wednesdays off, Monday afternoons off, Tuesday afternoons off, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to do whatever I want. I can work on my Jeeps, I can sell stuff on eBay, I can look on Facebook Marketplace and find stuff to resell. It's not easy to find stuff on Facebook Marketplace to resell. There's thousands of people out there looking for that deal. When you come across that deal, you need to move. You need to be ready. You have to have cash on you. You have to figure out how to go get it, how to bring it back. You got to figure out how to get the person selling that on Facebook Marketplace to get in touch with you. So you got to message them. I find a couple things work. Leave your phone number. People think and take you seriously when you leave your phone number. You ask a bunch of silly questions. You know, how's it roll? You know, when was the last, they're not going to take you serious. Who was the last person that owned this popcorn machine? They're getting 50 or 60 different yous asking them questions. Try to buy a Jeep CJ on Facebook Marketplace. Try to sell one. You get hundreds of people asking you questions. Put your phone number in the message and hit send. That's how I like to do business. I learned that not putting your phone number down will cost you a lot of money. I'd get up in the morning to see if that person responded to my question. How's the tires? When's the last time it ran? Most people say it ran when it parked, selling it for a friend or whatever. And I lost that deal, pending or sold. You have to be quick. You have to build a better mousetrap. You have to think. A lot of competition out there. Hard work and opportunity meets. You need to be prepared. You need to have that cash on hand. You know what you're looking to buy, and you know what it costs. So if you can run down to someone's house on a Sunday, I know Sunday is supposed to be your day of rest, but banks are closed on Sundays, and most of them are closed on Saturdays. So you need to have cash on hand. I'm always looking for Jeeps, old trucks. You can buy something off somebody on the weekends and beat all the other competition out. Well, I got someone showing up on Saturday. I got someone showing up on Sunday. Well, I got cash. That puts you ahead of the list. Got to thinking today. Normally when it's like 97 degrees, this gets fried in the heat. But today I started thinking about how I could help somebody out that wanted to start a service business. If you're fired up and it's something you want to do, you want to chew your arm off and make it happen, I'm going to say you're already in your service business right now, and it's your first week. You're driving a funny looking vehicle. You don't have all the right tools. You don't look like those service vehicles that are passing you on the way to those jobs. You're not polished. You're nervous. You probably ain't got no money in your pocket because you just put it all in the gas tank. That happened to me. I ran to a customer's house. I think it was like Wednesday, 14 years ago. I had the funny looking vehicle. I had all my equipment sticking out that hatch window that pops up. I don't think vehicles have those pop-up hatches anymore. I had a broom and the push part of a push mower sticking out the back of it. I was janky looking, but you know what? I had passion in my soul. I was fired up about what I was going to go do. So I pull in the gas station. I walk into the gas station because I didn't have a debit card. My credit was so bad. I didn't have banking. Wasn't allowed to have banking. Now I have credit unions and I can do whatever I want. But back then you needed to have like a 650 credit score in order to get an account, you know. And if they were nice enough to give you an account like they gave me an account, I had to put $100 in it, and I was had restrictions and stuff on what I could do and what I couldn't do, you know. And the branch manager took pity on me, and she said, keep your nose clean for 6 months and we'll take some of them restrictions off for you. So I went in this gas station. I had $25 on me. I said, I want $25 on pump 3. Lady tappy-wappied on her computer, asked me if I wanted a receipt. I said yes, because I'm a new businessman and I'm going to keep receipts now. I'm going to file them away. Tax write-off time, I'm going to have my receipts. Because I recommend that when you're in business for yourself, you're a walking tax write-off. Shirts, sunglasses, hats, reading glasses, pens, all write-offs. Even this, all write-offs. So I get out there to where my truck's at. There's a Mercedes-Benz pumping my gas. I said, whoa, I'm broke. Now I'm in a desperate situation. I'm on empty. I got to be somewhere. I said to the guys, I said, you're pumping my gas. He goes, no, this is my pump. I told the lady the wrong number. Or was that guy stealing my gas? I don't know. So he took one look at me and he saw the desperation in my face. He said, all right. And he pulled out his wallet. He took the debit card over to the other pump, swiped it, said, there, get your $25, you know. So I pulled around and got myself lined up and got me my gas and got me to my job. If the customer wants to pay you when you're first starting out, take the money. They ask who you write the check out to. If you don't have your LLC or bank account yet, you tell them your name. And then you got to take that check to Publix or cash places or whatever. Now, I'm going to tell you, you don't want to do that forever because they take a percentage of it. Okay? They're taking advantage of the fact you don't have a 650 credit score, that you don't have an established business, money in the bank. They're taking advantage of that. Sometimes those places, you can use them to your advantage. But when you get rolling and stuff and get you an account, get you an LLC, get you a fictitious name, make sure you pick a name that you're going to like in 10 years. Okay? I have a business and I don't like the name because the abbreviated initials say something dirty. And once in a while, people will pick up on that and laugh. So I got to thinking today. So I got my $25 in my truck. It wasn't really a truck. I guess it was on a Ford Ranger frame. It's an Explorer, that hatch that lifts up. So people call it a truck. I don't know. People didn't call things SUVs all the time back then. I get to my job, get working. Lady comes up from across the street. Says, hey, I see you over here working. I need some things done around the house. What's your schedule like? I said, well, I'll walk over and I'll take a look when I'm done here, if that's all right. First of all, never stop your job to go look at someone else's job. You've already been paid to work at this person's house. you stay there until you're done. That's the rule. Don't break it. Do not leave someone else's house and go to someone else's house to look at their requests. I don't care if they say that they're leaving, they're going out of town. You stay there at your job because you're on someone else's dime right now. And 9 out of 10, these people will respect that because they're not going to go run into the house and get on the phone and start calling people out of the phone book. You know, that's not going to happen. So what got me thinking today was customers. How do you get customers? And people will walk up to you because they see that you're in the particular service that you're in, and it gets them thinking, oh, I need that. You ever been to someone's house, start working on something, and they pick up a broom and start sweeping the garage and doing things around the yard? Psychology, it's you know, attention, money follows attention type deal, you know. So get your job done, then go run that estimate, and then you have all the time in the world to be relaxed, and you can now focus on that person. By doing this, you can focus on your money. What's it going to cost me to do this job? Okay, when I first started out, I didn't charge enough. I was working scared. I wanted to get the jobs. So I underbid everything. I underbid things for 8 or 9 years. Remember, I'm making $100,000 a year and I'm still charging very, 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 very low rates because I was still in that mode. I didn't want someone else to get this job for me because I needed this job. All right, I was hungry. I still had the eye of the tiger. All right. Rule number 1 is don't ever let anybody else on your property. You know, if you don't clean pools or something, that's different. But those trees, those bushes, all that landscaping stuff, that's stuff you should be doing. And if you get a customer that hires other people, don't get mad about it. Just do your job, suck it up. Don't get down or you know, down on yourself about it, because I used to take things personal. What's that guy doing there, you know, planting that tree? I could have went and got that tree, you know. Some of these customers have connections, people that they know. You know, that could be her cousin giving her a palm tree on her birthday or something. You don't know. I have a large account. They re-landscaped that account last year under my nose, didn't ask me if I wanted any of it. Now I'm responsible for taking care of all those plants and all that stuff. And you know what's interesting is the company that they gave all that money to did a bad job. Then plants died, irrigation wasn't run right, etc. You know. So what got me thinking today was this. 14 years ago, Rusty didn't have business cards. Okay? This card represents who I am and how you can get in touch with me. I went down to the print shop. We didn't have Vistaprint back then. I went to the print shop. I walked in there with my chest out. I'm a business owner. Man says, what can I do for you? I says, I want 25 business cards. He goes, 25 business cards. He goes, what are you going to do with 25 business cards? I said, I'm starting me a business. He goes, all right. It's a little odd just to want like 25. He goes, I recommend you getting 500 to 1,000 business cards. I thought, oh, that's going to be expensive. Back then, business cards were like $65. They printed them on a sheet and then they cut them up with a machine in the back. So I asked him what it cost, and it was like $65 for 500 business cards. I had to wait, I think, 9 days for them. During those 9 days, I could have used those business cards. This is things you need to think about before you actually go out in the field and start working. How are you going to communicate with people when they come up to you? I get people that come up to me all the time. Hey, you in the lawn business? And I'm in my truck and trailer and got my mowers with me and stuff. And I want to say, no, I like driving around lawn equipment. It's good times. You should try it. Get a trailer and a mower and hook it onto the back of your Volkswagen. Drive around everywhere you go. Pull a trailer and a mower with you. Good stuff. I control all the situations that I'm in now because I don't work in fear. Okay. Someone approaches me for a job or for my services, I got business cards. I got them in the dash. I got them in the center console. I carry them around with me. I have them in my wallet. My wife carries them around. Some of my friends carry them around. I go into a brand new house that's not been sold and I'm doing some work for a property manager. That card goes on the counter. I started this business with a lot of foreclosed home buyers by leaving that card on the counter. They say put it in a drawer, but I had a little anxiety about them ever finding that card in that drawer. So I left my cards on the counter. Not one card, 2 cards, 3 cards. Okay? You're not allowed to put things in the mailbox, but you can hang stuff on the mailbox. Learn the rules on how you can pimp your business. Because I think it's a federal offense to put something in the mailbox. But you can put a rubber band on a business card and hang it on the flag. That's legal. I'm pretty sure of that. If I'm wrong, it's been a while, comment below. You can also put door hangers on doors too. They cost, they kind of spendy. You're in a neighborhood and you try to farm that area and stuff. But I never did any of that. I found that unless you're in a brand new neighborhood, brand new homes, that's when the flyers work. And I'm not in a lot of brand new neighborhoods anymore. So I don't do that no more. I let what I'm doing speak for myself and what I'm driving around with speak for itself. I look the part. I don't look like an astronaut. Astronauts dress the part. You go into a restaurant and you look behind them hot lights that keep your french fries warm, you'll see people dressed in certain outfits. They're dressed the part. Okay? People don't show up to a baseball game dressed in a football outfits. Look the part. I know today we have technology and stuff, and we use our cell phones a lot, but I never left home without a pen. You search my house and my truck, you'll find 500 pens. I like to write things down. I like to handwrite stuff. Write my phone number or an estimate on the back of a business card. Hey, I'm not going to be home. I'm going to run out, but go ahead and take a look. The gate's open. I'll write down on that business card what I'm going to charge them, what the estimate's going to be. And then I follow up with them. I make sure I get their phone number. Okay? I write it down. Okay? I know now that we've got these iPhones and stuff that you can put the number in your iPhone and then call it. But I have some bad habits. This was called a sword back then. You couldn't make sales deals. You couldn't sign contracts. You couldn't do anything without this pen. It's funny is with all the technology and stuff, you buy a truck or a car from a dealership, you sign with one of these. Okay? And they got autotronic signature things on the internet and stuff now, but going to a car dealership, still using the old pen. It's still a sword. Make sure you have some business cards and some pens on you if you're just starting out. And if you're in business, You know, it's easy to forget some of this stuff, you know. Have your business card and your pen on you. Be prepared. How many times I've been out and someone's asked me for a business card and I've run out of business cards. You got your pants pulled down. You're not responsible. You're now put yourself in a situation of vulnerability. All right. I'll tear the truck apart to find a business card. And luckily, I'll find one with oil on it, griddled up underneath the seat. Works just as good as a clean one. Here's a business card. Because that business card represents who you are to that person. If you want to get serious about your life, start something. Start a business. Look around where you live. Study the businesses that are already in business. Get a job working with one of these companies. Try it out first. You know, find something that fits your personality or your ability. You know, you're never gonna ever be rich and wealthy if you work for someone else, is what they say. Which, in some cases, you know, isn't true. You can work for, you know, grocery store for 30 years and retire with an awful lot of money. You know, you can invest and, you know, you can get percentages of companies, you can get certain deals and stuff, but for most cases, you working for someone else, you're just there to fill their need, help them become wealthy or rich. I've worked for myself for a long time, and when I failed, I had to go back and work for someone else. It's a weird feeling when you've been your own boss for so many years and you wind up back in an air conditioning truck, running calls, being told what to do. You're not allowed to be creative. You're told when you can go to lunch and when you can go home, when you can go on vacation. You know, I worked sick. I worked injured. Now, if I was working for someone else, I would call in sick because I got sick days. In 14 years, I've taken one day off. I hurt my back really bad, and I used it as an opportunity to train one of my employees. I walked up to him with the route. I said, "You're up. Here you go. See you later. Need anything, call me." He didn't call me. He got back late, which was all right. It wasn't a terribly bad day for him or me. Now, I did send another kid out in another vehicle while I went out in another vehicle, and he thought that I turned him loose on his own, but he didn't know I was out working and running estimates and stuff, and he came back missing a piece of equipment. He hit one of them speed bumps, and $450 edger disappeared into thin air. I said, "Why didn't you turn around and go get it?" It's not his. What does he care, you know? So, before you start a business, come up with a plan. Plan your work and work your plan. Okay? Try to figure out who you can work for now. Okay? Here's another tip. When you call property managers, they need all sorts of stuff. House cleaning, they need all sorts of services. Okay? Plan what you're going to do. Have a speech prepared. Most of these property management companies you can get. I got tons of work from property management companies because I figured it out. I don't like pushing people out of jobs and stuff, but find a problem. Do you have a problem with who you're using? And 99.9% of the time, they're going to say this one thing. They're not showing up. Okay. I used to drive around an air conditioning truck, and on the back door it said, "We show up." And my friends used to laugh at me. That's true. If you show up, you got the deal. You got the gig. Okay. Keep an eye on your numbers. Figure out how to exchange your time for the most money possible. But when you're on the up, make sure you don't lose an opportunity because you're more expensive. Now it's hard to figure out what you should charge for your services. If you're renting a house or something, there's no harm in calling another company up and having them come out and give you an estimate. Have a few companies tell you estimates over the phone. You can figure out your numbers real quick. If somebody comes up to your house and gives you an estimate, you know you ain't gonna hire them, give them $25. Buy them lunch. Ask them, how long of a drive did you have to get here? Give them $30 for gas, because they're giving you knowledge that you can use. I always say there's always a bunch of ways to skin a cat. There's a guy on the internet that says if you want to climb a mountain, you can climb that mountain all sorts of different ways. If you pick the way you want to go up that mountain ahead of time, you're going to get up that mountain easier. You're going to have your business cards on you. You're going to have your pen. So, well, this is Russell with Russell's Does Stuff. And if you like this kind of stuff, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you want. If you're just passing through and this ain't your thing, I appreciate you dropping by. Until the next time, this is Russell.